Good evening from Rome, where a new pope has been welcomed by the Catholic Church and the wider world. Leo XIV, as he's chosen to be known, is the first American pope, Chicago-born 69 years ago, and English-speaking, Spanish-speaking too, after years of missionary service in Peru. St. Peter's Square is quiet now after the excitement of earlier, when Leo appeared on the balcony and uttered his first words as Pope, "Peace be with you all." Vatican watchers believe he fits the mould of his predecessor Francis, but perhaps is a little more worldly. One thing he did make clear, this Pope from the United States wants a more united world. We must be a church that builds bridges, he said to the crowds in the square, listening below. Just after 6 o'clock in the Eternal City, and the first wisps of white smoke escape from the little chimney that sits on the roof of the Sistine Chapel. In the square in front of the great Basilica of St. Peter, the faithful had come from all corners of the world. The wisps turned into little clouds, so there was no doubt the conclave had done its work. The celebrations could begin. First to emerge onto the balcony, the Cardinal with the job of introducing the new Holy Father.
Annuncio vobis gaudium magnum.
The old words which open each new chapter in the story of this faith. We have a Pope.
Habemus papam. Eminentissimum.
And he will be known as Pope Leo XIV. Moments later, the man born Robert Francis Prevost in Chicago 69 years ago presented himself before this delighted congregation.
La pace sia con tutti voi.
His first words, a greeting as old as Christianity itself. Peace be with you. Peace and unity were the themes of his opening address. United hand in hand with God, let us move forward, he said. And there was explicit acknowledgement of the work of the man who preceded him. For building bridges between peoples, said Pope Leo. Thank you, Pope Francis.
Di Papa Francesco, che benediva Roma.
He spoke in Italian and then in Spanish.
In modo particular a mi querida diócesis de Chiclayo en el Peru.
A special thanks to his diocese in Peru, where he spent so much of his ministry. Notably, though, this American chose not to speak in his native tongue. He is a pope for the whole world, and not just the places where power lies. Cardinal Prevost was billed as the compromise candidate, and it took just 4 rounds of voting for the largest and most diverse conclave in history to choose him. But in a church full of competing factions and a world so often polarized, compromise can be hard to find. His words tonight show that the new pope at least knows the size of the task before him. Now, for the city of Chicago and for Catholics across America, the election of the new pope has been, of course, a particular cause for celebration. President Trump called it a great honor for the country. Pope Leo is considered half Peruvian after working there for most of his life, and he holds Peruvian citizenship. The new pontiff has a foot then in both North and South America.
At Catholic churches and seminaries around the United States, the reaction was one of astonishment and joy.
As soon as they announced Leo XIV and said, it's the first American Pope, everybody erupted, screaming, jumping up and down, clapping. Everyone started freaking out and chanting, USA, USA. It was just an immense moment for everybody.
We all screamed. So we were all watching it in community. We were all like sitting there watching, and then you heard the bells.
The election of 69-year-old Robert Prevost is a remarkable moment for the American church. He grew up in Chicago in the Midwest. But he spent 20 years as a missionary and parish priest in Peru before becoming a bishop there, known as someone who would visit remote villages. At the recent Vatican ceremony when he was appointed a cardinal, he spoke of his background, and of wanting to help build bridges across a divided American church.
That it's not coincidental that Pope Francis chose me. I've been a missionary my whole life, and I was working in Peru. But I am American, and I think I do have some insights into the church in the United States.
The president has tonight given his reaction.
What greater honor could there be? And we were a little bit surprised, but very happy. It was just a great, absolutely great honor.
But if Donald Trump sees this as an easy relationship, he may be mistaken. Pope Leo XIV's recent social media postings have been highly critical of the president's policy of deportations. He retweeted a Catholic writer who spoke of the illicit deportation of a US resident before asking, "Do you not see the suffering? Is your conscience not disturbed? How can you stay quiet?" And he criticized comments by the vice president, posting, "J.D. Vance is wrong. Jesus doesn't ask us to rank our love for others." A priest who was a classmate of Leo's at theological college says the new pope is a modest man with a brilliant mind.
He's not a showboat. He is very calm, but extremely intelligent and extremely compassionate. The style he would bring to the papacy would be calm, steady, very direct kind of guidance.
Yet the American Catholic Church has been besieged by searing questions about how it's handled priests accused of molestation and abuse. Most notoriously, whether the Church protected Cardinal McCarrick before he was convicted of sexual misconduct and defrocked by Pope Francis in 2018. And some survivors tonight accuse the new Pope of failing to investigate allegations of abuse by priests in Peru. All of this certain to add scrutiny to the early days of his pontificate. Those who know him best suggest Leo XIV is likely to be a reformer, an American who will place social justice at the heart of his mission. Robert Moore, News at 10, Washington.
Well, the watching and waiting in St. Peter's Square by tens of thousands of people ended with that balcony appearance after the white smoke from the Sistine Chapel signalled that the cardinals had made their choice. For the faithful among them, prayers had been answered.
They could hardly believe it when the Sistine Chapel chimney signalled the era of a new pope. There was jubilation and celebration, many overcome with emotion. Others couldn't contain their joy. Some began praying.
I'm very emotional about it. Excitement, I guess.
Yeah.
I never imagined that I would be here.
It's so much to take in. This is the fourth Pope that I've known as a Catholic, and so it's totally overwhelming.
And the Pope is a kind of new, esperanza.
Hope.
Hope, new hope, you know, something that's going to restart and a new hope for the world.
As the Basilica bells rang out, heralding the first American papacy, 150,000 people crowded around the Vatican, keen to get a glimpse of Pope Leo XIV.
And this is the moment everyone here has been waiting for, the new Pope appearing on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica.
Americans here for this moment were simply thrilled the new Pope hailed from the USA.
Unbelievable. We were talking about it on the way here. We were not expecting an American Pope at all. We witnessed history.
We just didn't think it would be like they would select the Pope, we would come and see it, like just unbelievable.
It wasn't just the Americans, but people from countries across the world who came together tonight at the Vatican and celebrated the new leader of the Catholic Church.
And Sejal is still in the square. Sejal, it's a bit quieter now, but tell us, what was it like there from the moment we learnt that the world had a new Pope?
Guys, it felt really special to be here tonight. From the moment that the chimney on the Sistine Chapel began bellowing that white smoke, the atmosphere here in the square changed within seconds, people began singing and cheering and celebrating this new papacy. And they immediately also, there was a real sense of excitement, anticipation and hope. It was very different from last night when people had waited here for about 2 hours hoping that a new pope had been elected, only to be disappointed. Now, this pope, as we've heard, is going to represent 1.4 Catholics across the world. And many people here tell me, look, he's going to have challenges in the years ahead. He is going to have to unify the various views and factions and visions within the Catholic Church. But that, they say here tonight, is for a different day. Tonight it is all about celebrating what they see is a new start and a new hope, and a new pope that is going to lead them and the Catholic Church into the future.